The OnePlus 6T managed to grab a big chunk of the budget flagship segment thanks to its powerful hardware and up-to-date software. It does have a lot of competitors in that particular price segment, but none of them have managed to knock the 6T out. Honor recently launched the View 20, which is also well equipped and is priced at par with the 6T. Naturally, it isn't easy to pick between the two, so we put them in a head-to-head to see which one is right for you. These smartphones are priced similarly but have taken a different approach when it comes to design. Both have a glass back panel and a metal frame. The Honor stands out due to its flashy color and the V-shaped pattern which looks stunning when light hits it. At the front, the OnePlus 6T has a dewdrop notch, while the Honor View 20 has a hole punch display. The View 20 is a little closer to an all-display front here and looks futuristic. Both phones have the earpiece moved towards the frame to maximize screen estate. Honor has positioned the power and the volume buttons to the left side of the frame. OnePlus has the power button and the alert slider to the left, while the volume buttons are on the right. This positioning on the OnePlus makes it easy to reach both the power and the volume buttons, whereas the higher positioned volume button on the View 20 needs a stretch to reach. The Honor View 20 sports the 3.5mm headphone jack, which is missing on the OnePlus 6T, forcing users to use the USB Type-C to 3.5mm jack dongle for third-party wired headphones. Honor has also put in an IR blaster on the View 20, which is handy for controlling IR-based appliances. The View 20 also has a physical fingerprint scanner, which the OnePlus 6T misses out on in favor of an in-display fingerprint sensor. In terms of design, the Honor View 20 is more appealing than the OnePlus 6T and looks modern in comparison. Overall, between the OnePlus 6T and the View 20, the View 20 gets the point for design. The OnePlus 6T is powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 SoC and comes in 6GB of RAM with 128GB of storage, 8GB of RAM with 128GB of storage, and 8GB of RAM with 256GB of storage. Yes, there is a special McLaren limited edition variant as well that gets 10GB of RAM, but that's priced higher. The Honor View 20 uses a Huawei Kirin 980 SoC, the same powerful chipset from the Huawei Mate 20 Pro. This device comes with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage and 8GB of RAM with 256GB of storage. You are greeted with Full HD Plus display panels on both, but the OnePlus 6T uses an AMOLED panel, while the View 20 has an LCD panel instead. OnePlus offers more color profiles including the sRGB, DCI-P3 and adaptive mode, while the Honor only lets you choose between a natural and a vivid color output. You can adjust the color temperature of the display on both, which is a good thing. While using these smartphones outdoors, we found them to have good sunlight legibility. Overall, the OnePlus 6T has a better display panel compared to the View 20. The OnePlus 6T has a 3700 mAh battery, while the View 20 has a bigger 4000 mAh battery. Both smartphones have fast charging support. OnePlus ships the 6T with a 20W dash charger in the box, while the View 20 gets a 40W supercharger. These smartphones have cutting-edge hardware and the software is also up to date. Both smartphones run Android 9 Pie, with the OnePlus running OxygenOS and the Honor View 20 running Magic UI on top. While the underlying software is the same, each has its own set of customizations. Honor comes with some bloatware pre-installed and has quite a few features added on top. OxygenOS is closer to stock Android with subtle customizations. If you prefer a customized UI or are used to one, the Honor View 20 is the one for you. But we prefer the near stock Android approach from OnePlus. Also, OnePlus has a better track record for updates and software support compared to Honor, so this round goes to the OnePlus 6T. We put these smartphones through a couple of our benchmark tests to see how they perform. In Antutu benchmark, the OnePlus 6T scored higher than the Honor View 20. But when it came to Geekbench, We saw that the Honor View 20 scored higher for both the single-core as well as the multi-core tests. In graphic benchmarks, we observed that the OnePlus 60 had a clear lead in multiple tests. The View 20, on the other hand, scored significantly lower. The OnePlus 60 has an in-display fingerprint scanner, while the Honor View 20 has a traditional one. We found the in-display fingerprint scanner to be slow and inconsistent compared to the traditional scanner. Both these smartphones support face recognition, which can be used as an alternative to unlock them. The dewdrop notch and hole punch displays on these phones feel large and spacious, but are missing small chunks in the center and in one corner respectively. We preferred the Honor View 20 here purely because the hole punch is barely noticeable while watching videos or playing games. We played PUBG on both these phones in similar conditions to gauge how they perform. These are capable of playing the game with graphics set to HD and frame rate set to high by default without any lag or stutter. After a 40-minute gaming session, we found that none of these phones got hot to the touch, but the OnePlus 60 has slightly higher battery drain. Pick either phone and you will be able to get through the day on a single charge. We also put these through a charging test to find out the OnePlus 60 charging slightly faster, which could be because of the smaller battery. We put these phones to the charging test and checked them periodically after a span of 30 minutes and an hour, and the results, well, they're right here. Full charge took 1 hour 23 minutes on the 60, while the View 20 took 1 hour 33 minutes. In our HD video loop test, the OnePlus 60 had managed 13 hours and 45 minutes when we first reviewed it, while running a test again resulted in the phone managing 16 hours and 22 minutes. This could be because of the multiple software updates the device received over time. The Honor View 20 managed a little over 12.5 hours in the same test. The camera setup is different on these two smartphones. The View 20 has a 48 megapixel primary sensor along with a time-of-flight 3D camera sensor. The 60 has a 16 megapixel primary camera along with a 20 megapixel depth sensor. At the front, the View 20 has a 25 megapixel selfie shooter compared to the 16 megapixel selfie sensor on the 60. The View 20 is capable of taking 48 megapixel shots but is set to 12 megapixel resolution by default. While reviewing the View 20, we found that photos clicked with AI had better details and color. So for this test, we left the AI on the Honor View 20. With respect to the OnePlus 60, well, it does not have AI in the camera app, so we left it to auto. When taking landscape shots, we found that the OnePlus 60 could meter light better and set the exposure correctly. It also had slightly better details in the shadows. The Honor View 20 takes advantage of its 48 megapixel sensor when shooting at full resolution to give better details. In macros, it was harder to choose between the two. The OnePlus 60 had well-defined edges, while the View 20 could detect the subject thanks to AI and had a better bokeh effect. When shooting portraits, the View 20 gives you the option to put its TOF 3D camera to use. It has a cool 3D shaping feature that digitally slims a person down by squeezing the frame. The OnePlus 60 does not have such features but puts the secondary depth sensor to use to blur the background. While both smartphones have good edge detection, we found the OnePlus 60 to click better portraits overall. Photos clicked in low light were better on the Honor View 20. Both smartphones had aggressive noise reduction leading to a grainy output. The 60 had larger grains in comparison, which affected the overall details, which was evident on zooming in. Selfies clicked from both smartphones are good to go on social media platforms, and you have the option to add different stickers and AR effects while clicking from the View 20. The OnePlus 60 manages slightly better colors compared to the View 20 in different light conditions though. Video recording maxes out at 4K resolution for both these smartphones, but there is a 10-minute limit on both. At 1080p, video stabilization is available on these devices, which helps deliver a smooth stabilized output. Overall, the camera performance is very close and you will notice the difference only when you actively look for it. The OnePlus 60 and the Honor View 20 are both powerful smartphones that are priced aggressively. Now, since they are priced at par, the decision between the two isn't as easy as some of our other comparisons. But if you are very clear as to what you need from your next smartphone, the decision will be fairly easy. Honor boasts of its hole punch display, and that gorgeous flashy back is sure to grab eyeballs. It has a useful IR emitter, a fast fingerprint scanner, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and more software features overall. OnePlus, on the other hand, delivers on quality software, keeping it closer to stock Android while adding useful features and holding out the promise of software updates for a long time. It also has a better AMOLED display. These are pretty evenly matched, but if you want a modern looking smartphone and design ranks pretty high on your list, the Honor View 20 should be a pick. But if you want something that'll age better and be up to date with respect to the software, then the OnePlus 60 is the one for you. And that was our comparison between the Honor View 20 and the OnePlus 60. Now, which one are you going to pick? Let us know in the comment section below. And as always, for all things tech, stay tuned to gadgets360.com.